Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the What the Sheep podcast. Today, we will be discussing and breaking down episode 95 of Campaign 2 of Critical Role. Guys, we had another cliffhanger of an episode. That seems to be a running trend as of late. With
I blame you, Nico. You made up this podcast name to be What the Sheep. And it's like we went through so much Critical Role and it was like side quests and just them getting to know each other, and now it's just been like backstory,
Yep.
huge thing one after another, huge cliffhanger where it's just I blame you still.
Yeah, I mean the name
Seems
of the
legit.
podcast definitely holds true. But one thing that I actually want to bring up real quick is so in the previous podcast episodes we've been speculating what the live show episode is going to be. And with the very long combat of this episode, they kind of got delayed a little bit from reaching the Oasis and stuff. So I'm thinking that Traveler Con will not be the live show. It'll probably be. It's now going to be closer to the negotiations, probably, because next week is going to be their fight with this beast, and then journeying into the Oasis, and however long that takes, they might not even be able to make it to the. Well, they'll probably make it to the negotiations because it's still 3 weeks away, but depending on how much they get done, we'll have to see.
Unless Matt does something in time, which he doesn't normally do, it will be probably quite a while before they get there. I mean, it was on Talks, I think, this week, where Crit Roll Stats had said TravelerCon is 33 days away or 28 days away. It was almost a month. And I was thinking, like, okay, that in roleplay terms is a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sessions at the rate these guys move. Like, what are we going to do now? Well, let's go over here and go into the tavern. They waste a lot of time, not really waste. They have background story development a lot of the time. Very entertaining background story development, but it takes a lot of time to get through.
And also, where they are at the moment, they're not near a city. They've gone to this place so that they can move on to the negotiations straight after. I don't see them having much downtime in any of these places. It's not like they're in a city where they can go around and do things.
Although we're yet to talk about the fight they're going into is probably going to have some ramifications. Lasting and eternal ramifications, but we'll get to that in a minute.
So how long off are we from the live show? Nico, you would know.
Not next episode, but the episode after is the live show.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah, no, that's
2 weeks.
Because we're definitely not getting the negotiation. Yeah, you're right. That sounds pretty solid.
Yeah, and so my guess is the live show will probably be whatever Caduceus has to do next after this Oasis visit.
And maybe the lead up to the negotiations.
Yeah. The live show will end in a cliffhanger of entering the negotiations.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited that I was a little concerned about TravelerCon being at a live show, so glad that it's...
You know, it's just starting to sound... This may sound silly, but I'm starting to get concerned that the theories that we come up with here may be seen as prophecy. It's almost as if, like, by uttering the thought of, like, I wonder if this will happen in TravelerCon. If it actually happens, people are going to hate us forever.
Just say the weirdest thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing that could possibly happen.
The volcano erupts and it causes, like, a massive...
The phoenix comes out of the volcano and...
Oh my god.
Hell is released.
That's happening.
I think it was on Twitter, or it might have been one of you. I don't remember. But somebody was like, what if the gods reassemble Vox Machina to come and take down Artigan because he's like another upstart god, like trying to... And like he's not good. He's definitely solidly in the chaotic, like...
He's not evil.
No,
it's just chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In its purest form, chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where do you think he was off to when he was like, I'm gonna go visit
yeah.
Am I getting ahead again? Because
visit an old friend.
And it's gonna be
Ashy?
Cindery or Ashy.
Yeah.
I think it would make sense to me that he would be going to go and try and talk to the Raven Queen, because she's the most recent, like, ascended, because she was a mortal, right? And then she like she was the most recent god to ascend, I think.
Yeah,
but isn't she beyond the divine gate? So
she is,
yeah, but they got beyond the divine gate. You could probably work it out.
Especially with his ability to plane shift like he does. The whole mention of the creation of the gate was fantastic with the dick on the door.
Oh yeah.
But there was a number of like little hints that he said about the door, and he's like, "Oh, yes, the planes are so thin, but it's in one place." And I wonder if there was loads of little plot threads and little things there that he didn't explain on.
He was plane tripping around the place.
Yeah.
I loved his reveal to the team though.
Oh my god!
I know, and
crazy.
They were like, "Wait, who are you? What's going on? Wait, hang on a minute! Stop!"
Yeah. They
really
were just so confused and didn't know how to process what was happening and unfolding in front of them.
Well, imagine it. You've been told about this person. You kind of like, "Oh yeah, it's your imaginary friend, whatever," and then they actually turn up. And you're like, "Oh, okay, but you're not a god." I love Bo as well. Just like I want to touch him.
I know.
I run up and touch him.
That's her first instinct.
What did you guys think of, like, before he even introduced himself to the Mighty Nine, of like Jester's conversation with him and like her reaction to everything he was telling her? Because I feel like you could kind of see a bit of, well, we saw her at the end when she did go to sleep eventually, like maybe a bit of disappointment or uncertainty about what had happened. I was like, oh, poor Jester. But that first conversation before he even actually went to the Mighty Nine, I thought was wonderful. Like,
Chat were getting a bit concerned about that and saying like, "Oh, she's so scared when she's found out he's not a god and he doesn't have real power, and will her power just dematerialize because now she doesn't believe in him?"
Yeah.
So, but I think she began to come round to the idea of like, this is going to be really fun. We're going to have a lot of mischief and pranks along the way, and being more of a leader and instigator in it rather than the follower of the traveler. She's like the high disciple or whatever she's called.
That was a really interesting thing, because skipping ahead very quickly, but in that fight when she went to cast Spiritual Guardian, she was kind of like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll see if this works," sort of thing. I thought that was a nice little reference maybe to that of like, oh, okay, well, is this power still gonna actually work? But you know, that conversation was great, because you just got to see the traveler who I think we all kind of thought it was going to be Artigan for a while, but he seemed like such a stoic and reserved figure and like a protective figure. So I think now that he can finally just like, you know, throw off disguise and be himself, you're just like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot of character.
Which is probably also a reason for Jester being a bit disappointed and conflicted about the reveal, since he's kind of a completely different person now than from what she was exposed to. So
exactly, because he was saying like, I'm still the same person, everything I did was me, but he's completely acting differently.
That whole conversation of them trying to work out what a religion is and what it should look like, and like some of them trying to like lean it towards, well, if you must do this, if you have to do this, this has to be like lean it towards good, and then the others kind of leaning it towards like everything bad about different forms of organized religion. Like, it was just so interesting and incredible to watch them all like bring their own experiences to the table, and then like Sam introducing like faith healing in a place that, you know, in a world that has like actual
faith healing. I found it interesting that like I feel like Caleb was trying to rationalize it a lot. Whether it to be like to support Jester or he was trying to rationalize it himself, but just that conversation of, oh, it's a cult. He's like, well, maybe it's not a cult, and Jester's like, no, it's a cult. It's like, okay, but we can make it a good cult. Like, what did Sam say? He said a cultitude.
Yeah, it's a cultitude. Yep.
It's a cultitude. Make it good.
I was wondering if Caleb, sort of like, you know how Percy knew a little bit about the Feywild, and Caleb has like Frumpkin, which is like a Fey creature. I was wondering if he already knows that time is a bit messed up in the Feywild. Like, depending on what happens, you can like, when you come back, you can jump forward or back in time. So I'm wondering if he's like really sort of legit interested, or if he's like playing the Traveler a bit.
Yeah, I think it was more like he's aware of the Feywild, so he probably knew how dangerous an Archfey was, and he was just being as careful as possible. And I think also because Artigan then mentioned how, oh well, messing with important people, messing with like dangerous people is even more fun. And I think maybe Caleb saw a bit of that, thinking, oh, he could be useful. Yeah, that's because he speaks like Sylvan and everything. Caleb, doesn't he? So he must know a lot about the Feywild.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt usually has some plausible way that they know the language and the knowledge that they've got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was mainly interested in, because specifically Ford and Caduceus, their thoughts on Artagan, completely like, because Artagan just wants to stop this being like a godlike figure. It's not fun for him anymore. It's too much work having to keep tabs on all of his followers. So he just wants to fully abandon it. But obviously that's gonna, strike a sore spot for Caduceus, specifically because of his devotion to the Wild Mother. He's obviously, and maybe successfully did, sway the Traveler to not fully abandon it, but create something that will strengthen the religion and the followers while not putting more focus on the Traveler. His idea being like the story, Jester's story specifically, because Jester really is the main reason that the Traveler religion or cult even exists.
Yeah, which is surreal.
Yeah. So I'm beginning to think that perhaps our previous theory from last week of Jester becoming the Traveler might actually become true, because while Artagan doesn't want to be this godlike figure, but he recognizes and sees the devotion that Jester and possibly the rest of his followers have, he will appoint Jester to take his place, so he won't have to be like the main focus.
Maybe when she gets to level 20 and she's kind of equivalent to his powers, maybe. But until then, she's still.
It'll be a slow grind. Yeah.
I tell you something I was thinking about is, what do you think Artagan's other followers are going to be like? Because there was a bit where he went, well, they're an eclectic bunch, and so he's like, what does that mean? Who are they? Where are they from? And what kind of people could he possibly conjure together? Second, we know that the Traveller is one of the banned religions in the Empire. Why is it banned in the Empire? What did he do? Because it obviously wasn't something Jester did, because she's quite reasonably friendly terms with the Empire. So who upset the Empire? Could it be somebody that we've already met? Wasn't there somebody that they did meet, that Jester met, and she's like, oh yes, I followed the Traveller, and she was quite surprised.
That was a knoll in Asarius, so that was in Jorhas.
Okay, well he's a potential candidate.
Yeah, that'd be cool if he was there, because he was like this real like grotty old knoll.
Yeah.
I like that character, but I think I'm trying to think. I don't think it was banned specifically. I might be wrong. I don't think it was banned specifically. I think it was just not one of the approved religions. Because I think there's obviously like a ton of religions in Exandria. I think in the Empire they only have the 5 approved, or is it 6 approved? And the rest are automatically banned. I don't think it would have been a matter of we're specifically banning this one. Although I can only imagine they would specifically ban the Cult of the Traveller, because it's absolute chaos.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're still cleaning the paint off that statue.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Definitely a lot of chaos ensuing. I'm guessing that the rest of because at least I'm assuming that the rest of the followers aren't going to be as energetic or as chaotic as Jester is, since Artagan said that she's his favorite. So I'm guessing the other ones are going to be mischievous in nature, obviously, since they are following the Traveller. But perhaps some of them might be a bit more malicious in their intent. Some of them might be a bit more reserved. We'll have to see. But it's definitely going to it's going to be a mixed bunch.
I don't think the Traveller would, based on his nature of we've seen, I don't think he would pick up somebody evilly malicious, but maybe mysteriously malicious. A prankster, more of a ruthless prankster of like, oh yeah, did you fall over there? Oh dear. Did they leave that banana skin there? Oof, look at that.
And something that I just remembered, it was a very minor thing that Caduceus said, but he hinted at himself being somewhat of a prankster growing up, and that something happened that made him stop doing it.
Yeah. What? But he stopped talking about it. He's like, yeah, that's all I'll say for now. And like Travis was freaking out. Going,
doing his backstory sirens.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, and I know we'll get to this at the end, but it makes me wonder how long Caduceus has actually been alone for. Because he sometimes talks about like his relationship with his siblings and growing up, and you do get a sense that he was a bit more lively and energetic and things like that. So I'm wondering if he has been alone for a really long time, so that's kind of caused him to become very like quiet and reserved and things like that.
That's interesting.
Hopefully we get to figure that out eventually. We'll see.
And then like when he finally reunites with his family, they're like, what the heck, you're so different now. Where's that happy-go-lucky, super energetic nature that we were used to?
To be fair, they did meet him and he had a pink mohawk, so he's probably...
True. True. That's true. I wonder what...
I've been really enjoying, like, watching Taliesin. I know, like, I hope this is true for all critters, but as you're watching Critical Role, you sort of... There are people that you, like more or less, or not dislike, but, like, you have sort of a character that you enjoy watching more or whatever, and... like I don't think I ever really enjoyed like Percy, as he wasn't like my type of character per se, but watching Taliesin, he's so quick. Like Sam's quick with like comedy, but Taliesin, like, he says these really random wise things in like half a second. And like, or like, I'm sure he'd been thinking about it, but pointing out Jester's, like the origin of Jester's name, or when Yasha said, somebody said Yasha said you just throw somebody in the deep end, and he was like, yeah, I guess if you want to drown them, like, his brain is insane. Like, I don't understand how he did it last week as well with a bunch of things.
I've had the same thought. I know what you mean. It's almost as if he's read such a repository of knowledge that he's stored it all upstairs, and he can recite these incredible words of wisdom as amazing one-liners, like your secret is safe with my indifference, and everybody kind of goes, what? Oh, that's really funny. That's a really clever way of saying I don't give a shit, mate. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. He's got so many of these, and he just reels them off just really, really quickly and leaves. He doesn't continue with the explanation. He just says it and waits for it to everybody sink in as they kind of go, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's really good. And obviously us guys that witness it, we can see the emotions transpiring, and there's no real thought process he seems to go through. I think this is where his legend obviously has grown, because people are saying like, well, Taliesin was around in the Dark Ages, and as we know, Talison's from a different plane of existence.
Being,
and so he is definitely a very clever man.
Like a couple I wrote from last week were absence is not the opposite of love. Just off the top of his head. And the other one was, well, if we're going to maybe something, we can maybe anything. Like, anyway. I just thought that was incredible. Yeah.
Anyway, one of my favorite moment of this entire episode was Jester talking to Artagan and saying like, "Oh, Caduceus, he worships the Wild Mother, and you know what she does when he asks for help? Like nothing. She does shit." And Taliesin just goes like, just gives her a look. Like, and you look at like Liam. Liam's like, ooh. And he's just like, oh, really? Like, that's such a thing.
War of the Gods, yeah.
But then he was so like, obviously, that was Taliesin reacting, but then Caduceus was so supportive of her, saying, like, well, it's a bit strange, but we're here to help, and things like that.
Yeah.
So good.
I love how she introduced Caduceus to the Traveler by saying, this is the one who listens to the wind.
It's the wind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Like, oh yes, I've heard of her. Yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Mushroom. You're right. Good astute.
Yeah.
I'm actually really curious to hear what Yasha has to think about the Traveler and how he's making such an appearance. Because with Cord, he's sort of this like, he's like this disembodied rolling thunder that appears every now and then. He's never really manifested. Has he even? Have we heard him speak at all? Towards Yasha?
Did he speak when she was trying to break the chains? Was there any words given or commands given? I might be mixing it up with like Ukatoa being like release or consume, but maybe. But I think Matt generally describes his input as like feelings, thoughts.
Yeah.
I'd have to go rewatch that scene, but maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. We haven't obviously seen any kind of physical interpretation of him. Whereas, like, even at least Melora, we've seen like her hands kind of come down, and that's what I was going to mention. Sorry, I think another reason Caduceus is so like willing to give the Traveler a shot, because he said like, "Oh, you've done so much for us." It's because the Traveler helped revive him when he was killed.
I think it's true.
The Wild Mother came and helped, but it was still the Traveler doing the ritual and things like that. I love. There's a lot of comments saying when that happened, the Traveler was just like, "Oh God, what do I do? Like, how do I bring someone back from the dead?" But managed to find the power to do it.
Man.
So I think Caduceus is like, okay, well, he might not be a god, but he's clearly got the power to do good things. So we can definitely explore it.
Yeah. And while I'm not a huge fan of Artagan's personality in the sense that he's pretty egotistical, he's pretty dismissive, but I feel like it's safe to say that he won't cause any malicious harm to the party, because as he said, he just wants to have fun. He wants to just relax, have a good time. He even meant, for someone who's been alive for as long as he is, things get pretty boring. So he's just trying to, stir up a little bit of chaos, but nothing to, cause harm or anything. Of course, obviously, spoilers for Campaign 1, he did decide to strangle Vax, but that was because there was no consequence to it. And there was no consequence to it because Vax was going to come back alive anyways.
He was fascinated by the concept. Yeah, it's like, I can strangle you and you will come back. It's like, yes, I want to try that. That sounds.
And I think even his reaction to it was kind of just like, yeah, it's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I've done it now. Yeah.
I love him. Oh, I love Artagan. I think he's great. I love his mannerisms, his design. But there's one red flag. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, Nico. Yeah, just one. I'll get to it in a sec. I can see where you're coming from, Nico. There's a bit aloof and a bit kind of like when they said, like, so your goal is to spread the lid, make you. It's like, no, it's the exact opposite of that. I want to step away and let them do it all. It's a bit like, oh, okay, that's a bit abrasive. But I still enjoy his character and the way he's delivered. But the main red flag for me is why, and I can't understand why anybody does this, but why does he not like the theatre? What is it about theatre that is so upsetting me that it's crossed from Campaign 1 to Campaign 2? Vox Machina know that he doesn't like the theatre. The Mighty Nine know. So what happened in the theatre? I love the theatre. The theatre's great, and Critical Role is a theatre of the mind. So why not the theatre?
That's end of Campaign 1 stuff. They say that in the last episode. The Fey Theatre is like a haunted theatre where spirits come and you can get trapped there and they make you perform in the theatre for thousands of years.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, he did explain it, didn't he, in the after show?
Yeah. So he's like saying, don't go to the theatre because you'll be stuck there forever. Because I think they say they went there in like in their year off, or like they went there at some point and almost got trapped there.
Oh no.
I think it was the year off because I think Vax went as well. So I think it was the year off. Yeah, they tried to explore the theatre and almost died. Or almost got stuck.
So maybe he extra hates it because maybe at some point he got trapped there.
Maybe. We don't know how old he is. He seems pretty old.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I'm excited also, like, just for Matt, because he had to play some really creepy and weird characters lately. So like playing Bo's dad and then playing the hag. Just to get to absolutely go full ham, like with this character.
Yeah.
You can tell he absolutely adores it.
Did you see that tweet that somebody
expressions?
was it you, Alana, that clocked Matt's pronouns on Twitter? He's changed to he, him, hag.
I don't think I saw that, but I wasn't thinking that probably happened. Yeah, he, him, hag.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But I love the subtle changes. I mean, obviously they're all amazing voice actors and like their talent always shows and it's incredible. But I just want to, like the subtle changes that Matthew did with Artagan's voice from being just the Traveler to then switching back to his normal self, where he was more, as the Traveler, he was more like professional and mysterious.
Yeah.
But then as Artigan, you know, he was just being himself, and he was more, you know, cheeky and all that stuff.
Where he grew into a massive critic, like, oh, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pamphlet thing, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have that kind of reservedness of like, or Piper, like when Bo tries to touch him, he's like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's not super cool.
Or Jester's saying, like, he could kill us all now, and he's like, I could,
Yeah.
but I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
So,
Another great voice acting moment this episode was Bo shrinking.
Oh yeah.
It was really quick. It was really quick, but the whole cast then had to go.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Man.
what about Jester's real name, though?
Oh, Genevieve.
Cool.
I feel like she came up with that on the spot, but I feel like it works because she was like, but also I'm not sure because like when they first asked her, it seemed like Laura was trying to like stall to come up with like a good name, but it also might not have been on the spot because she used the name Genevieve for Oscar, and for Tusk Love. She made the female's name was Genevieve, I think.
Ooh, we need to
also,
go
like,
back.
Yeah, her mother's name's Marianne,
Yeah.
which is kind of an older style name. So if the mother chose Jester's name as a baby, Genevieve is not like too far out of the ballpark. I always wondered that. I'm like, why would her mother call her Jester? But then, people pointing out, oh, it's in the player's handbook. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. It's pretty cool. Which makes a lot of sense for Molly then. Like that's really cool with him and his names. Which is then why obviously Taliesin knew a lot about it.
Yeah.
Names are important to things.
Molly left a lot of mysteries behind them.
Yeah. I can't
wait for the end of campaign.
I know. It's just for Taliesin. They'll just like unleash
Taliesin,
everything about.
200 questions.
I don't think we'll need to. I've got a sneaking feeling that something from Molly is going to be fed back into the story at some point in the future.
Well, because there is his whole ritual thing. There's like the old group that he traveled with.
Yeah, the mysterious woman,
the ritual,
the burial, the tree, whatever could.
Kree is still around.
Yeah, yeah. Molly's a whole different segment.
Yeah,
long may he reign.
Yep.
Maybe tieflings like actually have I think tieflings have a thing where they do actually choose their own name.
Yeah, it's like a naming
flavor text somewhere.
Yeah, it's in the naming rules for tieflings in the player's handbook. It says like they
makes sense.
When they come of age, they can choose their own like name and identity sort of thing. And so so Jester's like, I chose Jester. Like perfect. I do. And speaking again to like Tao's wisdom, he takes the name Jester, which is so often like just kind of assumed with the trickster, jokester. Yeah. But he's absolutely correct. Jesters were these people that would tell truths and they would tell stories, and they were often like very much like not revered, but like well respected in the sense of they had a very important role to play in telling these stories. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn, Tao, like, God, you good.
Yeah, it was a way. It was kind of a way for the commoners to understand, what's going on, since on average they won't be as educated as the political officials or the people like within the castle or whatever. So it was a way for them to understand sort of what's going on in a much simpler, funny, exaggerated way.
Yeah.
So
good.
But yes, what is that? Derek in chat. I am waiting for them to come across someone wearing Molly Mock's coat. That is going to be the end of that person's life.
That person, if they're not already dead, would die in that instant. Yeah. I don't think anybody could actually wear Molly's coat and live.
What if it's like a homeless person, like walking past, and it's like, I'm so cold. Oh, there's a coat.
Yeah.
Like,
oh no.
They'd beat up an old homeless person. It'd be very on brand, but still, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Goodness. But I guess we can talk a little bit about the long combat that we had. And leading up to it. I love, Matt sort of talked about it a little bit, but I love that he puts like little things for the party to potentially mess with just to see
and
what they'll
they
do.
will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was in the Reddit chat, and everyone's just like, just walk away.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the Mighty Nine we're talking about here. They're not going to walk away. They're going to poke and prod until something bad happens.
Exactly.
They never learn.
No.
I was so confused. I was so sure that it had something to do with his family. Because I'm like, it's fungus.
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's just like, it's a path leading to where you have to go.
Yeah.
And then it's really, I'm still confused if that's what
I was thinking it was like, this was where they buried the people for the Stone family. Like, this is how they did it. I was like, it's kind of creepy and weird, but that's all right. And then, no, it's not. It's just creepy insects.
Creepy insects.
And then, because Matt specifically said that these insects don't look like they're meant to be from around here, which definitely raises a few questions. What's your theory?
Sorry, I don't mean to announce it like I have a theory.
You're good.
You're good. But no, because I think he was using cave fisher minis. I'm not sure if they were actually cave fishers, but he did say he had to bump them up and like change them slightly. So they could have just been variant cave fishers or whatever, which are obviously living in caves and things like that. Yeah. And those burrows we saw coming from the ground. I'm excited to see after this fight if they go into the cave, if there is like an Underdark situation in this area, and that might be a way for them to push on some of these episodes, fill up the 3 weeks a bit, because I feel like if there's an Underdark situation here, that's going to be so cool. The only Underdark we've had this campaign was walking through the tunnels to Jorhas, and it was just like a straight tunnel. I mean, we got Spurt, but still.
Rest in peace, Spurt.
I would love to see some Underdark stuff again. I love that so much. But yeah, the idea that they're in this jungle, you wouldn't normally see them. Well, I'm thinking they've just burrowed up from the ground underneath.
Yeah.
Cave might lead them to a new arc or a new couple episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe they got scared out because of the beast.
Yeah.
Like
or something
maybe
else.
They're not actually meant to be up there at all, and they got scared out. But also, it's called a menagerie.
Yes.
And he mentioned that. And there are all these animals. There are lots of other animals that are not jungle animals. Like he kept on pointing out, like these animals don't belong here. So what is that? Like it's not just animals who've come up to drink at the pool and have been petrified. There's something else happening.
What?
Potentially.
What if like the creature, the bull, the Gorgon was like how the Stone family, I'm skipping ahead, sorry, but how the Stone family, like maybe they controlled it or had control of it and then lost control of it. Because I feel like he said some of the statues, they look quite peaceful and they looked like normal, and then as they got closer to the cave, that's when they were getting kind of fearful and kind of like running away kind of statues. I just want to see what's inside that cave. I think there's going to be cool stuff.
Yeah.
What's the Talisman cave that the stone burial was meant to be? Was that meant to be like cans, or was that meant to be like because there's also like air burials
dust is
as well.
fire. Yeah, that's what I thought the stone one was. I thought it was like outside because it's dust was fire, like turned to ash. Clay is buried, turned to clay. Stone was meant to be like in the outside in the air, which I guess if they
like the Tibetan air burials where like the carrion birds come and like take people away.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the creature that like consumes. Like
maybe there's something in the water.
It's weird. It's extra weird because it's Taliesin and Matt together, and that's always just extra weird.
I was thinking because he was saying the water kind of looked like a mirror, and was super reflective, and I was like, oh, it's a Medusa. Like we're gonna get a Medusa fight.
Oh yeah.
But no, close.
What do you think the red and gold cave means? Yeah,
so he was describing that was like the cave entrance, wasn't it? Like there was red and gold.
Gold seams. They're like red like the rock and the dust, the piles that they were finding. There's too many mysteries. There's just too many.
I know.
Just like, what is that? What's that? What's that? What's that? And because they
That's
just
the thing.
got into a fight, we've got no idea what's going on.
I was kind of worried. Well, I wasn't worried, but I was thinking like it was going to be a similar dust sort of thing where they turn up and it's like, oh, there's a family there, they welcome you in, they take care of you, sort of thing. I'm super excited that it's not the case. I'm not super excited for Cad's family, but I'm super excited that it's like there is actual conflict here. They're going to have to deal with it.
I love the way Matt explained the statues. He said like, they're just like statues. Some of them are really well carved.
Yeah.
Like, they kept failing their medicine checks. They kept failing all their checks to inspect them, so they're just like, they're nice statues.
What's funny is that for me in this moment, I was a huge fan of the Percy Jackson books growing up, and in the first book, the group comes across Medusa in the modern world. She has like a garden gnome emporium, and they don't know that it's Medusa at first, but they're looking at all of her garden gnomes, and they're like, wow. These are so detailed. These are so good. And then eventually, one of them, Grover, recognizes one of the statues as his uncle. And he's like, wait, this is my uncle. Yeah. And then it's revealed that this lady is actually Medusa and stuff. So in this moment, when Matt was describing how like perfect these statues were, I was just thinking back to that book. I was like, this is...
You could tell that Tellison knew what was going on as well. It's obviously he's such an experienced role player and D&D-er that he knew that they were petrified. But the realization when he realized that it was his family, that was quite a dramatic reveal.
Yeah,
very traumatic for him.
We don't get to see kind of emotional Caduceus much. Like he gets a little peeved off and he gets supportive, but we don't see him get like sad. Like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
Get fully sad, and that's probably just the character, but even then in that scene he was very much just still on task, still on focus, which I thought was very interesting. I think that's why I've just been wanting to meet the family so much, because I want to see if there is this different side to Caduceus, if he does have this slightly more emotive aspect to him. And just in that scene I was like, oh no, we're going to see Caduceus like break down. He's like, nope, he's still like leading the charge. It's like, oh
I thought during Clay's story he said something about the stones laying the dead out on a stone slab for the animals, not turning the dead to stone.
Yeah, it's like an air burial. So like you leave them out and then the air takes them, or like the things in the air takes them. So I think that's probably
mushrooms.
Which is probably because the Gorgon's breath is what petrifies people and turns it into stone. So that could be the air that takes it.
Or it could just be maybe that is how they've been doing it, just leave the air, let things take it, let the animals take it, and then the Gorgons moved in. And it's just so happens that it turns things to stone. So when they first arrive, it's like, oh yeah, this is normal. Oh no, it's not.
Oh wait.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Man, but I'm just trying to think. Did anything else majorly exciting happen in that fight? It was a good fight. Like it was just that kind of a lot of things coming at once.
Caleb almost went down.
Yeah.
Until he went gorilla.
Yeah. We haven't had people almost go down in a while.
Yeah. I kind of check out in fights unless it's like an important one. Just because
it was a very long fight.
Yeah. About halfway through, I kept it open in another tab, but because I'm more of a fan of like role playing and furthering the narrative and stuff. But just like random fights, when they drag on, for me they get a little boring. But as soon as Caleb got low, I was like, okay, time to start paying attention again. This might actually might actually be bad.
I'm the other way around. I prefer the combat, but that's just me. But I like the role play as well, but I sometimes get a bit distracted when Liam's having a big heart-to-heart, and I'm like, you just shut up. I'm a bit like Grog. I just want to have a fight. Can we not just skip to the battle, please? Shopping, really?
Yeah.
But it's fun.
No, I'm kind of like, I love combat when I'm playing D&D. And if it's an exciting monster or creature, like I'm fully into it. But this one, I was just like, it's kind of just a wave of low level things. They're all the same. The interesting part of that fight was obviously the wrapping in the cocoons, but I feel like that didn't fully disadvantage them too much, apart from the actual disadvantage. But I felt like that was more just, all right, well, you're staying in this one spot.
Yeah, it helps that most of them are casters too, so they don't really have to move around in order to be effective.
Yeah. I found it funny. Someone was commenting on Reddit saying, like, I found it really interesting that Ford hasn't used Eldritch Blast in so long. Like, is this him forgoing his Warlock capabilities for the Paladin? And that was about 5 minutes before he's just like, yep, Eldritch Blast. Like, just doing it again. I'm like, yeah, no, his sword's better at this stage.
Yeah.
He's got some amazing abilities now, though. And he's
cool.
like, cast them, and I would cast water breathing on everybody, and you're like, wow, okay. Have you got the room to do that? You're a warlock. You've only got so many spell slots, but sure, go for it. Why not?
That's going to be so clutch, the water breathing next episode, if you maintain. Is water breathing concentration? Or is it?
I don't think so.
Don't think it is.
No, that's going to be so clutch because I'm fairly certain the creature can't go in water and it's actually like super weak against water.
And I'm assuming it's petrifying breath won't be able to breach the water.
I think so, yeah. But I'm also still certain there's something in the water. Because he said you couldn't see the bottom, didn't he?
Yeah, Matt was kind of hinting that there might be something.
Yeah,
something
there's always something in the water. I mean, it's either what was it? What was the one-shot one they did with the Darrington Brigade and the big duck?
Yeah, Duck Thulu.
Oh,
yeah, Duck Thulu. Yeah,
Duck. Yeah, Duck Thulu's
or it's gonna
coming
be like
back.
the squid from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The Kraken.
Oh no.
It's Ukatoa. Ukatoa's
in the lake.
Yeah. He's been waiting.
Yeah.
I'm worried about
that. Big.
The meeting for the peace conference is at sea on ships by two factions above where Ukatoa is sleeping.
Yep.
Yeah.
That scares me.
He's coming. Yep. He's coming.
Oh Lord, he's coming.
Do you think Travis is going to get more reward? Search.
No, he's going to get punished.
No, yeah, he's going to get. I feel like. I feel like he might get some dreams eventually, like within the next coming days, where it's just like super ominous, like threats from Ukatoa.
Yeah.
Like him like strangling him or drowning him underwater or something.
It's like, go do this now or I will legitimately kill you. Like.
Yeah.
But they've been back to Nicodranas once or twice and nothing's happened. That's when he's been the closest proximity to the ocean.
One thing, real quick, because I just remembered it.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that elemental being that they freed in the sewers of Nicodranas?
Yes!
Remember that
I've been waiting for that for so long.
Remember he like left and was like, I'm gonna go free my other friend at Port Damali.
The Marriage.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a genie. They can give you wishes.
Yeah. He was like, I'll return the favor at some point.
But he said come find me, didn't he? He's like, come find my underwater palace because he was a king or like a leader. I've been waiting for that for so long.
Yeah.
Didn't they shut down like an element of the Nicodranas sewers?
They did.
Yeah.
And then he was going to go free his partner from Port Damali.
Yeah.
Which is like so cool. But no, I'm that's. Thank you for reminding me of that. Oh, Kiralee.
Uh-oh. Should be having everything stopped working. Audio issues, perhaps. But yeah, hopefully they'll go retrieve their wish from that genie. That might come in handy coming up.
I'm worried it's going to be like the skull from campaign 1, you know, the gift skull. I was waiting for that all throughout the campaign, just going, oh, when are they going to get that back? When are they going to use that? Never.
Yeah.
No, it's a good job. As we know, it's a good job they bloody well did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still rewatching the Siege of Amman and what bit where Grog's in like, we need to go back to the castle to get that skull, and they're like, why? Because it grants a wish. And they're all like, but no, go away.
Yeah.
We've got dragons to fight. I love that whole development.
And I can't remember when they were out at sea and looking for one of the stones of Ukatoa. Did they end up killing Deshilla, or did she get away?
No, she got away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I think she's pretty stationary. I don't think she's going to be wandering from her spot.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
what happened to Jametti?
Jametti? Oh, we don't. He stayed in Darktoe. So,
Yeah.
what's his deal?
Yeah.
Why is the element of
Is he a revenant? What's going on
I'm
with
guessing he's probably a revenant. And when he talked a little bit about his like the other work he's done, like when he was in the mines or whatever, I'm wondering if that's when he maybe died and didn't have unfinished business or whatever, and then was brought back.
Under where they are now. Jamedi's there.
Yeah, they gotta go. Or maybe he was a part of the archaeological dig that uncovered the beacon in Pride's Call. That's just purely spitballing and taking shots in the dark. That's probably not connected at all. But who knows? Matt likes to have, various connections to things. So
yeah, hang on. Has Dunamancy? I know Dunamancy crosses over into multiple magic schools, but does it cross into necromancy at all? Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
Yay.
Everything stopped working, but I'm back now.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Does Dunamancy cross into necromancy? Because if that would be a really interesting concept, is if he's actually some kind of echo knight from a different dimension manifested into this one, but is actually an undead echo. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Maybe that's stretching credulity a bit too much, even for Critical Role.
It's an interesting. That'd be super interesting if that was actually true.
If that comes true, I'm not responsible. It's not my fault. I simply uttered that thought.
It's on you now.
Yeah.
No. I disavow all knowledge.
I'm excited to get the guide so we can actually start looking at the wording of the Dunamancy spells. To see what schools each spell is actually associated with. Because I thought Dunamancy was going to be its own school of magic, but then Matt said no, it's going to be in other schools. So like, I don't know. I'm just excited to see which is in which, because I feel like Dunamancy is very close to Transfiguration, but it's obviously its own thing a little bit. But yeah, it's a necromancy spell school.
Yeah.
I've got a necromancer wizard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let's give her all spells.
Derek, yeah, I am super interested in learning more about Vandarin, because we don't know too much about him other than that he was, a father figure, captain to Ford, and he did have the Sword of Fathoms at some point and was following Uk'otoa, but then abandoned that because he realized Uk'otoa was bad news. But I could definitely see Vandarin taking a
family.
Yeah.
But he gave up the bad life. He gave up the life and gave it to Ford and went off and did something else. Didn't they contact him by a message? And he was like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell Ford he's fine. I'm doing well. I'm relaxing."
Yeah, I'm just taking care of dead bodies at the Stone family menagerie.
Oh man,
that's my new theory.
Yeah. Oh my! It would have been insane. Like as Matt was describing, like Caduceus, you see your family, your father, your sister, and all these people, and then Ford. You recognize another one of the statues as Vandarin.
I think it could happen still. Like you're saying that. Like I'm 100% on board for this theory that Vandarin's going to be there, because it's that whole combination of, or that connection between Ford and Cad's storyline and the influence of the Wild.
Oh yeah, and it would be it would make sense if the reason Vandarin left Uk'otoa was because he decided to follow the Wild Mother, or because there was some influence there. That'd be interesting.
Where's my tinfoil hat?
Yeah.
No, but wait. No, but hang on. That would imply that Matt knew that Ford was going to give up Uk'otoa's patronage, and he can't possibly have known that unless they've had a writer's room all this time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well,
it's probably a bit of a stretch, but
yeah, that's fine. I'm on board.
That one's on you, Nico.
Oh no. Oh, next episode it's gonna open with, and by the way, Vandarin's a statue. Yep.
So come on, girls, make your prophecies, fulfill your fate. What is the worst thing that could happen to the Mighty Nine?
I've got something. I'm saving it for later.
No, go on. Tell the universe your thoughts. Let us know what it is to manifest into creation and the entire critter.
Yeah, we gotta start writing down our like bold predictions. Like I think our first bold prediction is Jester becomes the Traveler by the end of the campaign.
Yeah.
I think that's our at least that's mine.
Okay.
That's
yeah, we can go with that. Do we agree?
Something like that for sure. Yeah.
I'm kind of on board.
Jester equals Traveler. Okay.
Yeah. My thing is, I think something's going to go wrong at TravelerCon, and the Traveler's going to kidnap Jester to the Feywild.
Uh-oh.
or like because he's
I
going to be like,
that.
he's like, I'm done with this, let's go, and like bamf out with her.
Yeah.
And they have to go get her.
That bit when he said, like, if I leave, you come with me.
Yeah. I was like,
ooh,
ooh,
yeah,
that's a bit kidnappy.
Yeah.
Cult. It's a cult.
That.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think my prediction is still a little way down the road, but one of the things that I think a lot is that they're also playing around with Caleb, and they're all like seeking out their own stories, and but what Caleb actually, it feels like he wants to do, which maybe I'm making it up in my own head, but pretty much work out a way to be so powerful he can like time travel and not kill his parents. Like, that is potentially really dangerous, like to a lot of people, including to everything they have done. I don't know, depending on how Matt runs.
That's a campaign ending storyline.
Yeah.
It's like I go back in time and prevent it all from happening.
Even if he doesn't do it, I think the closer he gets to being able to do it, depending on how stable he is and if he's changed his mind, if they don't make him change his mind, they're going to have to end up like stopping him. I think he's potentially going to get very powerful and very one-track minded and not see the consequences of the spells he wants to do. There you go. There's a tinfoil hat one for you.
Yep, that's yours.
I've seen some like building off on that. I've seen some really fun theories of people saying, well, and I think it might just be fans like saying, well, this is the best possible scenario of that's a terrible. I shouldn't put on a fan voice. I am a fan. But like putting the theory of if he does manage to time travel, he goes back, saves his parents, but still lets his younger self believe he killed his parents. So like he gets back, grabs the parents, teleports out of there. Parents are okay in the current timeline. It's just he doesn't realize it until he goes back to save them. He still has all his experiences. He still has all the trauma he went through to get to the point to do it. And I feel like that's the only way the time doesn't get wibbly, if that's
and
how
then
he does
could,
it.
and then he does.
That's a little too happy.
Here's another interesting thing, because then, oh man, he could.
We shouldn't have gone down.
They
this
have.
road. It's not safe.
No,
we're talking about time travel.
It would take a lot of prepping, but they do have, and they are aware of the existence of the Happy Fun Ball. So Caleb travels back in time, rescues his parents, puts them in the Happy Fun Ball. Somehow, or because the Happy Fun Ball is able to mess with time and like speeding up and slowing down time, he just expedites that thing to the present time. And then his parents are fine, or he could just keep them in there and keep tabs on them.
We need to contact the writers' room. Right now. Let them know these ideas.
Yeah, we gotta call up Brian.
And a campaign right here.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm sort of going to is that any of these ideas are sort of like any of these ideas about him saving his parents are sort of. I don't know, maybe it's just me and maybe it's just the fantasy that I read, but like they're wrong. Like it's something that has happened.
Yeah.
So like it's about moving forward from that thing that has happened, and if he still wants to go back and like change it, then that's sort of like not
had a positive growth, then it's still is that what
yeah, like if we could change things, that's great, but even in D&D surely that has huge consequences because otherwise there's no otherwise that breaks the game. Like there's no
Raven Queen
to go back and change anything.
Well, there's bound to be some kind of table that Matt will roll on. I mean, when they teleport, when Essex teleports him somewhere and he doesn't know where he's going, Matt always rolls on the table and he's like, you had a 30% chance of not getting here, or 70%, whatever it was. So he's bound to have some kind of table for what goes wrong if you mess around with time, and it's going to be pretty bad. He's like, yes, your entire party is scattered over 5 time zones.
And that's such a good thing though about Matt as a DM, because you can tell that, and I'm sure they would have discussed it when they were beginning the campaign. Like Liam would have said, "This is my character's deal. This is probably what he wants to do." But Matt doesn't shut it down completely. He's not like, "No, time travel will kill your character. That's it, end of campaign." He's letting him explore it naturally by saying, "Well, here are the records. Here's what's happened to other people." But it's like there is possibility to it. There's the risk. He's letting the character still make that decision rather than just having the DM say, "No, you can't do that." Or like saying you'll do it, but you'll die instantly. Like there is still that aspect of possibility. Like it could work. It just depends how they go about it. I felt that way with the transformation of Not as well. I thought that was going to be like wait until level 9, true polymorph. Sorry, not level spells, true polymorph. But the way he allowed them to build it and kind of work on it, and I thought that came about way sooner than I thought it was going to. But
are there D&D time spells? I haven't seen besides like Wish. I haven't seen
slow and haste.
There's time
nothing there's nothing specifically to go back in time.
No, there's just like
to undo events.
What's Caleb's moment of possibility thing?
Fortune's favor.
Yeah.
You know what
there's also sorry. You go, Nico.
I've just been like brainstorming of what potentially Caleb could do instead of time traveling to bring back his parents. And because Dunamancy is such an early not school of magic, but an early magic to this world, and there's still so much more to be discovered. So his echo ability, where he can pull himself from a discarded timeline, like in obsidian form of himself that he cast, the other episode when they went to fight with the hag. Essek described it as a fragment of yourself from a different timeline that never happened.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Caleb does the research, what if he's able to go back to his home, to where his family was killed, and somehow find the timeline where they weren't killed and pull them from that into this plane.
Bring them into. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That changes it. Yeah. So he's not time traveling. They're time traveling.
Yeah.
Or not even time traveling. They're just jumping timelines to one where they survive.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Well, it's kind of replicating them, isn't it? So.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
They might not be quite the same people. I'm sure Matt will punish him in some way. It's like, oh yeah, your parents come back, they look the same, but then you find out your father is evil, and
yeah,
that could be very traumatic. You have to fight your parents.
Yeah, I just found the spell I was looking for. It's not so much time travel, but it's foresight. It's a divination spell, and I guess the whole school of divination is all about.
I played a divination wizard. That is so much fun.
Oh, portents are so cool.
Yeah.
He's like, great. Actually, no, that's a 1.
Yeah.
I bet the GM hates you.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to farsi over here. I'd like to know what's going on.
Yeah. But no, foresight lets you kind of see into the immediate future. But again, it doesn't let you travel there. It doesn't let you really interact with it. It just gives you that knowledge so that you get benefits, like you get advantage and things like that.
Because we messed around with time travel in our game, and I orchestrated so that I knew they were going to go back in time. I kind of set all of these seeds in motion so that they eventually discovered the means to go back. They went back in time, but they didn't want to come forwards in time. The idea was they went back, fix something, and then come back to the normal timeline. And they were like, no, there's better magic items here and bigger weapons and massive things. We're going to go into this dungeon. I was like, shit, I need them to come back in time. So I had to railroad them basically by arresting them as time-traveling adventurers by the elves. Yeah, basically, just, you're not supposed to be here. You can go into prison stasis for 1,000 years until you're ready to come out again. And it all felt a bit convoluted and contrived. So messing with time's really difficult in D&D.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me feel funny. It just doesn't seem like something like imagine if he's allowed to do that. Say for some reason, no big consequences. He finds a way to bring back either his parents or his parents from a different dimension / timeline, whatever, and then that happens. It just feels too perfect. Like it feels like something that isn't.
Critical Role.
I'd be happy for his parents never to come back, and like his growth is that he comes to forgive himself, or his growth is that he moves on. Which is a little anticlimactic compared to, you know, time traveling and bringing your parents back, but it's better for the character, I think. Or you know, not to say what's
I think
best
certain members of the Cerberus Assembly need to die in order for Caleb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
for
gotta
sure.
happen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Although I'm really worried about the Tal'Dorei Council now. Every time they mention it, like, oh yes, you hear a scream.
They're dropping them like flies.
Another one's dead.
There's not many left.
Oh, you've never seen Allura again.
Oh god. Imagine if Allura's there in the scene and they ask her if she just drops dead.
Oh no.
Like, I warned you.
Oh no. That'd be so bad. But I just have like so I listen to a lot of like cinematic music and stuff, and there's this one that I listen to where I think of like Caleb, where he takes more of like an evil dark path with wanting to bring back his parents, where he completely disregards everything for the sake of bringing back his parents. And I have just like this image in my head of him attempting to like break through like the veil that will allow him to try to time travel, but then like it just creates this rift that completely like changes the course of the entire world by opening this time tear, where just like chaos begins to ensue and stuff. Obviously that still could happen, but in my mental image is Caleb pursuing this with very selfish and not necessarily evil intentions, but the fact that he would be disregarding everyone else, not even caring about the consequences, is definitely a bit suspicious.
I think something
Caleb.
No,
something big would have to happen for that, because at the moment he's very much about sticking with the family.
Yeah, exactly. That's purely like my mental image of him like, taking a dark
not
path.
Would have to die or something.
Yeah.
It would have to be fairly bad. Not and Jester both at the same time. God, that one's on me. Please don't.
Don't! How dare you!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's been spoken into existence.
No, we're going to live happy, wonderful lives.
And they all live happily ever after, and no Katoa dies.
Let's talk about something happy. Who's going to hook up with who? Jester and Ford. Jester and Ford, ladies.
I think it'll probably end up. Actually, I still don't know if it'll end up being Ford and Jester.
Jester and Bo.
I feel like Jester won't end up with anyone.
I feel like it's a pretty like loveless campaign. Oh no, that sounds really mean. It's like a pretty like relationship.
It's a platonic.
Campaign.
It's a pretty platonic.
Yeah.
No love. Don't have time for that.
No love.
Wars to stop.
Here's my hot take. She's gonna meet her soulmate at Traveler Con. There's gonna be someone there that she just falls in love with.
Ukatoa.
That's gonna be.
I'd love to see the list of NPCs Matt's got for Traveler Con.
I know he has to come up with 200. He has to come up with 200 unique NPCs, each with names, backstories, parents' names.
He must have done this.
I saw someone saying they want Will Friedle to guest star at Traveler Con as like a up and coming cleric and like. That'd be amazing.
That'd be pretty great.
It could be Jester and Ford and Bo.
Yeah. All at the same time.
Yeah. Going back a sec, something you reminded me of. When Jester said, like, am I the best? Am I the leader? And he went, yes.
Yeah.
For now.
So, for now,
it was for now.
I think he might have been teasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's obviously that suggests to me that Matt's got characters in mind that are maybe level 4, level 5, 6, maybe. So they've got skills, they've got abilities, and they could potentially be.
She might get
challenges.
A little jealous.
And and they're kind of setting up like a display of power from Jester, aren't they? Like saying we're going to tell her story, and then she can display. Like what the Traveler's given her. I'm wondering if there's going to be other people there that are going
wait,
to be like,
I can do that.
Yes, I have power too. Yeah. And just be like, what?
Yeah.
One thing.
No, you can go. You can go.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I thought Phil was gonna segue before by saying, "Let's talk about something happy." Cad's family.
Oh.
but what were you gonna say?
Oh, what guests would you like for TravelerCon? Oh yeah. Will Friedle and.
Hey.
Will Wheaton.
Oh yeah.
if not just for the roles.
Yeah, I love Will. I think he's great, but that's because I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Yeah, I liked him as Ron Stoppable from Kim Possible, that cartoon back in the day.
The other thing that I had down in my notes,
not
the last thing I had down was that Sam just like made up a mechanic. Because I'm a DM, that's the type of thing that I really notice. And he accidentally rolled advantage when he shouldn't have. And so he was like, oh, well, I'll just take the average. And so he just averaged the 2 dice that he rolled. So, like, what would you call that? Roll twice and take the average? What, like, I've never heard, that's a brand new mechanic, right? Like, he didn't do it on purpose. He was just doing it because he was like, oh, I'll just take the average. But that could be a mechanic, kind of like the double disadvantage mechanic. Like, roll twice and take the average is sort of like not as bad as disadvantage. But
there are GM mechanics like that, just to slim down the amount of dice that you have to roll. Is like if you're rolling for an NPC with disadvantage, you just deduct 5 from 1 dice. Or if you're rolling with advantage, you add 5 to whatever the dice roll is. So you're not always rolling 2 dice. Middle, it's not really advantage.
It's still disadvantage.
Middle vig,
yeah, that's what we'll call it. Middle vig.
I've come up with one. More coffee.
I would definitely like to see Twiggy back at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if she made an appearance at TravelerCon, since she has a very chaotic mischievous.
She's the most suited.
Yeah, she is in the vicinity. That's a good thought, Derek in chat. Thank you. Yeah, I could definitely see her coming back.
Call.
Even if
that's his prediction.
A Jack Sparrow kind of position of like on her own little ship floating along, going, "Oh, hi."
Yeah.
Imagine if like she turns up to TravelerCon and they're like, "Oh, you follow the Traveler." She's like, "No, I follow this new deity. He's got Ukatoa."
Have
you met all these cool powers?
I got him right here. He's with me. He's right over here.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, she was a rogue, wasn't she?
Yeah, arcane trickster.
Yeah. But she had like personality traits of like both Nott and Jester, which was very much in line with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a sad dog I hear?
Yeah. Oh no.
That's my husband coming home and my dog being excited about it.
Oh, amazing.
That's so cute.
What kind of dog have you got?
Well, I hope we're
hello. Hello.
This is a dog podcast now.
Yeah.
What's your dog called?
This is Hoot. She's a Kelpie cross a wolfhound. She's like a RSPCA dog.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's so cute.
How old is?
But yeah, she's normally sitting under my feet under the desk.
Oh yes, give me some love.
Cute.
Yes, lick that face.
That's so cute.
Amazing.
Oh.
So should we talk about Cad's family?
Oh yeah. And
bring it down.
What's depressing is like Matt's sort of closing words to Taliesin now. He's like, I mean, there's a reason why they were never getting back to you. Oh man.
Just stab it in and twist it.
Yeah.
No, that was rough.
and now it makes even more sense, because when Caduceus communed with the Wild Mother and asked, is there anyone waiting for me? And it was like a yes, but like a not like a confirmed yes. This makes sense now because they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, Melora in the wind. She does shit.
Yeah.
No,
I love the way Matt built up to the reveal of like you recognize your father and you recognize. Telly, he wanted to deliver it and he was just waiting.
Yeah.
That perception check of 30 in order to see it. I mean, you see everything in high definition, including your family in stone.
Yeah.
I like the description of like his sister slightly like at an awkward angle and his father trying to pull him back.
Pull her,
what happened there? Trying to decipher what occurred here. How did this happen?
On the bright side, they can be saved. They just need to drop some greater restoration spells.
They can also be damaged by rampaging bulls.
True.
I believe if you're petrified, you have resistance to all forms of damage apart from bludgeoning.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
clearly
something
the
like
ball will
that.
do bludgeoning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
why I
you
think he's
don't
saying at the end, like,
age,
let's
right?
move away. We need to move away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I can
Too late.
absolutely see Matt has a page of notes just saying, well, if it rampages in this direction, I'm going to roll a die to see which family member it destroys.
Oh no!
Make Taliesin roll a d6.
Oh my god! Yeah, roll a d6.
Mother.
Yep. Oh no!
If you had to choose though between one of the Stone family or one of the Mighty Nine, that's
To
not
get
really a question.
petrified.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we are going to get some petrified, because they haven't fought anything like this yet.
Yeah,
They've
I
not
was
fought
looking
an
at
absolute-
the monster card for it, and the DC is pretty low. I think it's only like a 12 or a 13 that they have to save against, but
they can still roll.
But if they fail against it, it starts to take effect, and if they fail again, then they're petrified. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also a big area it covers. With like breath. So
yeah, if they all fail in the
they've
opening
been clogging
round
up lately too. And they've used some of their spells like that. I think it's con 13. But again, it's a lot of people pointing out it's a CR5 monster, which is pretty easy for these guys.
Yeah.
He might have
bumped it up, yeah.
Yeah, or it might not be the only thing.
There could be 2 of them, 3 of them. Yeah.
Yep.
He always does that to his monsters. He always up-arms them or gives them special weapons in some way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're fighting these monsters and I know how many hit points they've got, and it's like, okay, that takes 97 points. And you're like, hang on, it doesn't have okay, this is a powerful thing.
That was like the fight with the cave fishes. Like, they're fighting. I'm like, oh yeah, kind of sounds like that. It's like, oh, they're resistant to these things. I'm like, what? What are these things?
Yeah.
Look at them.
How are they resistant? But I love the way he does it, though. I find my creations are a bit contrived sometimes. It's like, yes, this creature happens to have body armor on it, and it's so it's. I mean, I once up-armored a dragon. I described like a dragon with an AC of 24. Said like it's wearing armor on it, and they were just like, I run up to it, hit it. I rolled 27. That doesn't hit. Let's run away.
I do miss a little bit. One of my favorite things to do when I first started watching the show and then watching campaign 1, I would sit with my laptop and I'd have the monster manual and all the next to me, and as soon as he would describe a creature, I would pause and like try to open it up and find the creature, because like that's how I was learning D&D, and it's like, oh, it's cool. So can't wait to see if that's gonna. I was like, oh, I can't.
It is. I've learned so much from these guys.
But I miss that now because he's got so much homebrew stuff, or he's got like up. So it's like, I think it's this. I look at my book and I'm like, I can't find it.
Yeah. Reddit is your friend. Matt posts all this stuff on Reddit.
Yeah.
I just look at Twitch chat because they always spam what monster it is whenever he describes something.
I like to just kind of like skim read it. It's like when Jester went in to see the hag and was doing the whole deal thing, and they were going, no, oh my god. MVP. That transition between the two is very fine, very funny to watch.
It is pretty funny. But then you'll get the random people that, call them out on mistakes and stuff, and then it's just
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah, they're having fun, and that's
that moment from campaign 1 where Liam's just like, it's a game. He's just like shouting at the camera. Yeah, like, get over it. Like, it's a game.
Yeah.
I still want to see them make a T-shirt that says "Critical Role, your fun is wrong." I thought that was a brilliant slogan for campaign 1, and they've never really picked it up.
I think it might be because there's already like a Redbubble, I think, T-shirt that says that your fun is wrong.
That one was taken.
I don't know what that is about people. It's interesting. Like,
I take it to like they're passionate.
The whole point of D&D is that everyone plays it differently, and like,
Even Wizards of the Coast say in the beginning, it's like, this is a guideline. Feel free to use it, use none of it, use bits of it, whatever you want.
I think a large part of it is when you're watching the show for as long as you're like 4 hours every week, you do feel like you are a part of it to some sense, even just as an audience member. Like, feel like you become so invested in it. So I think some. Oh no, lost Kiralee.
We lost Kiralee.
Oh,
and now the
yeah.
Oh no, the overlay's out of whack. Look away.
How does it look?
Don't look. Don't look.
I'm looking.
I
What
won't
does it
be
look
able
like?
to. I won't be able to fix it on the fly. So we'll just.
Oh God. I'll just
Yeah, I can.
go down like this.
Yep. I can go all the way down here.
down,
Yeah,
all
we're
the
still
way.
fine. We're still good.
Yes.
Yeah, the chaos crew is attacking. All right, we're gonna finish the rest of the podcast like this. This is how it's gonna be from now on.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, I have Phil in mind. Hi, Phil.
Hi. Yeah.
Oh man.
Although can I get down? Hang on, where's that one?
I've only got one little box.
Oh, yeah. Your hand can be in it.
Oh wait, there I am.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You could.
I'm
Part
in
of
the
your
bottom of
face
my
will be in
box.
there. But I mean, I guess if do you guys have any closing thoughts? Any final words on this episode?
Oh man.
Matt's getting very good at the cliffhanger ending.
He is.
I'm getting tired of it
is.
almost. I'd like to have a nice ending, and you all go to sleep and wake up the next morning. But he seems to really revel and enjoy and that's where we'll pick up next week. And you're like, that's so well done, you absolute twat. Stop doing it.
I know.
Sorry, Matt.
It's a good way to draw us into the next episode, even though we're all gonna be there the next episode anyways. But you know.
I'm sorry. I was watching the screen. I looked back and Nico's like, "It needs to change."
Oh, it's so
man.
good.
No, I'm excited for next episode.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a super exciting fight. I think hopefully we'll get some of Cad's family back on their feet, and then, like I said, my prediction is Underdark.
Yeah.
So
I'm calling it now. The Gorgon is going to paralyze breath them all, and they're all going to fail their saving throw, and the campaign ends next episode. Yep.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. But I guess with all of that being said, we can go ahead and wrap up. Everyone in chat, everyone watching home at YouTube, let us know all of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions during that episode. We hope you enjoyed your stay, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Valentines. And we will see you all in the next episode.
Yeah. I was just going to say.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Final words.
Oh yeah, all those things that we've been working on.
We have
all
things. We have things.
Yeah,
Alana,
so
if you want to.
We've been working on a bunch of YouTube critters for the past 2 months or so, a Valentine's Day project. So if you go to any of our YouTubes, really, any of critter YouTubes that you're familiar with, majority of us have become involved, and we've all worked together to make some lovely, warm, fuzzy feeling videos to show our appreciation of the cast and crew, and to show why we love Critical Role so much. So if you check out any of our Twitters, we've all tweeted about it. It's all on our YouTubes. And I think we've got there's like 14 or so videos, and there's a few more being added a bit later as well. So it's been really fun. This podcast kind of came out from that, didn't it? Of being able to communicate with all these people, and this podcast, look at it now.
Yep, and here we are, everyone. Started from the bottom, now we're here. I have it to auto not put links, so I'll fix that. Hopefully you didn't get timed out. Oh, he was timed out for 1 second. I'm sorry. No, you're totally fine. I keep forgetting that I have to remove some things from Streamlabs because I have it set to all their defaults and they don't like links. So I'll just have to worry about some stuff. But you're totally fine. Don't worry, you didn't break any rules or anything. You're all good. But yeah, be sure to check out those videos. It was a lot of fun to make. You will probably cry because a lot of them are just so amazingly wholesome, and yeah, you'll get your hug fix, definitely.
Yeah.
So cool. But yeah, with all of that being said, again, happy Valentine's Day. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.